All right, this is Sigil session 5. We have Galandris, Sabrina, Belgeron, Oliver, Amastasia, and his little pal Mayday Mayday all heading to the Great Bazaar, being followed by a bunch of masked figures. So, Sabrina, Belgeron, Galandris, what are you doing on the way there?
I think maybe we'd be talking to the people that were leading there. What do they look like again?
Oliver, Amastasia is an Eladrin, and he's a winter Eladrin, so he's got like light blue skin, kind of like snowy white hair. He's about, I'd say he's about like 6'1", kind of slender. There's a bunch of blue, like dark blue robes on, and then his little pal is like a kinku, looks like a little raven. Just has like dark robes and stuff on it. Looks like a little thief. I mean, that's what you get when you look at them, where they're just like thieves and rogues. And he does have that book in his possession with the weird hourglass on it.
True. And he was like guarding it with his life, right?
He was trying to hide it from you, but you could still make out what it was.
Sus.
He's kind of looking around nervously at the rooftops right now, trying to make sure you guys don't get a jump on.
Yeah.
He's kind of leading you to the bazaar from the hands of time.
Do you think that we'd be talking during this time? Like, would we say anything to them?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, ask him whatever you want.
Okay, maybe I'd be like, yo, why do we have to go to the bazaar again?
That is where my sister is currently at, and it's very imperative we get there because we will be protective and have some protection against whatever is currently chasing me.
I see.
What is chasing you?
Pretty sure those people in the masks on the rooftops behind us.
What do they want?
It could be a million things that they could want. It's just best that we get there as quick as possible.
Okay. Is there any way to move faster?
Yeah, you can start running if you want, but that will be like right now they're just kind of following you and they haven't picked up that you've noticed them. So running would like give it away that they're on that you know that they're following you and they would speed up and try to cut you off. You could you could if you want to make some back alley like directions and try to like hide in there and get there faster if you want to. I mean,
I think
Sabrina and Belgeron would know the city really well
true.
because you both patrol it pretty heavily from both your factions. And it's kind of a far away from the hands of time to the bazaar. So would you all want to speed up? Or would you want to speeding up would make it harder for you to like hide from them, but if you want to take the back alleyway, it would take longer to get there, but you could potentially lose them. So whichever one you
Yeah.
guys want to do.
I think we're gonna go for the back alley route. Well, I guess let me ask the rest of the group. Do you guys want to go back alley?
I'm good with back alley.
Yeah,
Yes.
it might be a good way to not get cut off.
All right.
It's not.
Actually, Galandris, do you want to give me a perception check? Then I want to see
21.
21. Uh, you see some alleyways that are a little bit like twisting. They could probably help you out hide a little bit better. and block some eyesight, and they have like branching alleyways, so you could go in many different directions as you want. And you also notice that the number of them following you has somewhat increased a bit, and it looks like double of what you guys are currently now. Looks like about 20 figures are currently on the rooftops following after you guys.
Oh my.
So I tell them that.
Would all three of you like to give me stealth checks?
Stealth checks?
Yep.
Where is that?
Oh my god. I rolled a nat 19.
Now, is this happening? How, like, is this happening concurrent with what's happening with me and like Og and whatnot? Because like before we split, Og had cast Pass Without Trace.
Now, did he select the entire party as the thing?
I don't remember.
Because if he just selected your half of the group, that would be different.
How many people can Pass Without Trace?
And would you get Belgeron? Did you end up finding it?
I mean, I think you can pass without trace quite a
I'm
few
gonna-
people.
I'm gonna
but-
Do
say-
I roll a normal roll or disadvantage roll?
Disadvantage. You're a big Warforged. Plus, I think you got Channing Mail on too.
Okay, the
Ooh,
first
wait.
one was 19 plus 3.
Mm-hmm.
Or, yeah.
What was the second one?
I don't know how to read 4. How does it read? 421 plus 3? And the first one was 2119 plus 3?
Let me see.
I'm confused.
Here, I got you. I just rolled the same stuff for you, so it will pop up like this. But you got a 12 and a 18. So it'll look like that. But so that's good enough. I'll say you guys like could duck without them seeing what exactly branching alleyways that you went down, and you lose about, just check. Lose about 11 of them. So about half of them have lost your stint, quote unquote. And this is going to add on about 15 extra minutes for you getting there. It's a little bit out of the ways. You pop out. I'll say when you look out of the like main street from the alleyway, you're gonna be right at the like hall of speakers. So you're almost like halfway there now. And those are the hall of speakers is the home of the signers. So would you like to run or try to do the alleyway again?
I think we should keep going through the alleyways.
Me too.
Okay. Give me another round of stealth checks.
I got a 15.
17.
Got a 21.
You lose the rest of them. As far as you can all see, you've lost the rest of them. So I would say it's pretty smooth sailing for you to. The assumption that you guys can make is they're not following you, so it's a little bit easier now to get there. But you still probably want to hug like, the shadows and stuff, and not want to walk like in the middle of the street. That's the assumption, anyways. Or you could just run like in a dead sprint for Bazaar to get there quicker.
I think that doesn't sound like a terrible idea.
It's up to you.
What do you guys think we should do?
Well, we've lost them, so running is an option, but we should. We know the city streets and the back alleys, so I think we should just play it safe and
Okay,
take it slow.
let's do that.
All right, you guys. We're gonna walk a bit down from the hall speakers, and you're gonna cross the like Great Gymnasium, which is where the Transcendent Order is. And Sabrina, give me a perception check.
Okay. I got it. Do I give the natural roll or the bonus?
Bonus.
Okay, 12.
You look up in the Great Gymnasium. I mean, it has a huge wall around it. You can see at like one of the windows a figure is watching you,
That's
and then they close the curtain, is what you can see.
that's spooky.
But it takes just a couple more minutes to get to that Great Bazaar, and you can already see all the different colored like tints. It's just like a huge like piece of land is just tints, and just a little tiny like marketplace area. Like there's all types of things that are being sold, like little trinkets, food. There's like antiquities, stuff like that. There's even a map shop to buy a map to the city if you want to.
I don't think we need one of those.
And there's like jewelry places, stuff like that is pretty well known. There's also the Red Lion Inn at the edge of the bazaar. But would you Oliver is going to lead you to the main tent, which is pretty much right next to the a restaurant called Emel's Happy Tongue Restaurant. It's probably the most like well-known food place in the bazaar. But other than that, there's this huge tent. It's like red and white, looks like a circus tent, and he leads you in there.
Anything like us? Anyone that would look like their sister or anything?
Yeah, if you all want to walk in there, it's all still pretty like raining outside. Weather's not good because of the Lady of Pain. Just through with her tear. You get in from the like cold and wet, and you're drying off in the main tent, and then you just see like this desk filled with like these papers, scrolls, like books, and you see a Eladrin elf talking with a little halfling with someone tied up.
That's weird. Maybe.
So would Liliana like to introduce herself?
All right. So as you walk in, as Snoopy said, one of the first things that you notice is that the room is filled with a bunch of books and papers and scrolls everywhere. There's a certain kind of organized chaos in the room. So, like somebody with a lot of things going on currently in their life. And you see an elder elf standing in the back of the room with a small halfling by her side, talking with somebody who is tied up and looks like they are maybe almost unconscious. By their side, you see a bag of something. You can't see the what's inside, but it looks heavy. And the Eldrin elf is staring down at this person who is tied up, and they're very much staring at each other, just maybe waiting for something to break. A few moments of weird tension pass until the Eldrin elf sighs and rubs the sides of her temples. If you're not going to tell me where you got these crystals, we are going to have a problem, all right? I'm trying to ask you nicely, for your sake, and for our own, but mostly for our own sake, all right? Where did you get these crystals?
This dude is not talking. He is biting his tongue, not speaking.
All right. I do not like to resort to violence. And I won't. I just want to tell you it is a possibility, all right? And I'll go peek at the bag, and another sigh leaves my mouth, and I walk back a little bit to grab one of the papers. I write down something quick in the paper, and I fold it up and give it to my companion. Take this to Malcolm. Tell him that this person is not speaking, and we will have to try something else later.
Yes, Liliana. And then you just see this little halfling like scurry off.
Oh, goodness. All right. And I'll go back to where the prisoner is, and I put my hand in front of his face, wave it, and from there you see just a small ball of light leave the palm of my hand, go kind of sort of into the person who's sitting into his forehead, and then he just plunk falls to the floor, completely unconscious. Okay. All right. Okay, well, as she turns around and looks at all of you with just a hint of surprise. Clearly, she wasn't expecting visits today, especially not right now when she was interrogating somebody. But she notices Oliver, and her previously tense shoulders relax slightly. She beckons all of you to come a little bit closer inside of the room, and she waits for all of you to approach.
You see Oliver like come up first. He's like, "Is this a bad time, sister?"
A little bit, yes. We have been dealing with some things all morning. Actually, now that I see you, where have you been? I have been looking for you all morning. I asked for you, and they told me that you were gone.
Well, the bad time is about to get significantly worse.
And that's when I look down and see the book that he's holding. And I see the hourglass on the cover, and just the deepest, most tired sigh leaves my mouth. All right. And I quickly go over to where the rest of you are. If you're still like by the door, I usher you all in, and I close the door. I wave my hands in front of it, and the lock kind of does a little clink sound, and I go back to behind the desk. I turn to Oliver and I ask him in Sylvian or Elvish, however the language is actually called. Right, Oliver, do you want to tell me where you got that book?
It's a lot more complicated of where I got it, and it's more of a pressing issue for you to know of what is behind the book and what I got along with it. And he presents you like this like burnt up like piece of paper, and he says, just take a look at that.
Alright. I look at all of you kind of warily. Do any of you speak like Sylvian or Elvish?
Yeah, I do.
Alright, just so you know if you're like understanding the conversation that we're having right now. So I'll take a piece of paper and I'll give it a read. And your first impression of this person is that she is very friendly, very open. And like from the maybe 30 seconds that you've seen her, she doesn't seem like she wants to really solve things with force. But when she takes a look at what is written in the note, everything in her body just kind of seizes up. And it almost feels like the paper, like the piece of paper is about to burst into flames with how intensely she's staring at it. And another sigh leaves her mouth as she folds the note and puts it away in one of the many pockets that are in her long, deep forest green cloak. Okay, this is not good. Before we do anything else, I am being very rude. I'm being a very bad host, and turn to look at all of you. I believe some introductions are in order. Oliver, your new friends, I do not believe I have ever met any of you before. Welcome to the Great Bazaar.
He just says, "Oh, this is my first time meeting them as well because we run afoul of the Athar."
Oh no. All right.
And he was like, "I guess you can take a wild guess of where this book came from as well." And that
Yes,
note,
yes, it is a very wild and very scary guess. If the rumors that I have been hearing around town have any truth to them. Anyway, I'll turn to look at all of you, each and every one of you, kind of just assessing you curiously, and then my eyes fall on Sabrina. And I kind of, my head tilts to the side, kind of like, huh. And I'll take a step closer, and I, with my hands clasped behind my back, I look at her up and down. Huh. I just kind of walk in a circle around Sabrina without saying anything, just with a small smile on my face. And I stop right in front of you, and I lean a little bit closely, maybe a little too close for comfort, just like staring right into your eyes.
I
Your-
say, do you need something?
No, it is just your harmonium uniform, your weapon of choice, your hair, your high cheekbones, and those eyes. You are a Corvain, are you not?
I say, yes, I am, actually.
You're young. You are Catherine Corvain's granddaughter?
Yes.
Ah, I knew it. Corvain's eyes are hard to miss. I knew it. Interesting. That Corvain is walking around the Great Bazaar in Sigil with these outsiders, looking at the people that are here from, very clearly not from Sigil. What exactly brought you, Miss Corvain, to meet my brother and follow him around with this book?
It all started with a frog. Wait a second. I just
Frog?
realized he charmed me.
You must be talking about Mr. Sleeves.
Yes.
He is quite a character, isn't he?
Yeah. He charmed me so that way I'd leave him alone. I'm supposed to be guarding him, but he ran off earlier.
All right. Yes.
But
No, please, go ahead.
when I was trying to guard him earlier, a group of people appeared and a bunch of skeleton warriors and a giant rat man sort of appeared, and we had to kill him. And then we sort of like got together and went back to one of the group's place, and then we split up when we left the place. And these two, I point to I can't remember their names. I need to write down like notes of names, because I'm terrible. Like I point to the two people that we just met, and I'm like, these two, and they asked us to help them, so we followed.
All right. Well, Miss Corvain, thank you for helping my little brother. He tends to get himself into trouble, or rather, perhaps trouble follows him. He is an Anastasia after all. Oh, now I have just mentioned my name, but I have not actually introduced myself. I am Lady Anna Anastasia. It is a pleasure to meet all of you, cagers and outsiders alike. All right. So, were you followed when you arrived here?
We managed to shake him, sister.
Oh, okay. I see. Did you manage to see their faces?
They had these masks on.
Masks. All right, well, this has turned the bad situation into an even worse situation. I'll go back to where the bag of stuff in the corner of the room is, and I lean down and I take out a red crystal that you all might be very familiar with. Do any of you recognize what is this?
I think that seems familiar to me.
Any of you?
Yeah,
Do
It
you know
was-
what these do?
I believe we saw these crystals at the shop.
they seem to do something to living matter.
Something to living matter. Interesting. We have been finding a lot of people carrying a frighteningly large amount of crystals around the bazaar. We do not know yet exactly what they do, but they clearly are fair to dangerous even for a strange place like Sigil. I put the crystal away, and I go to the large, beautiful dark oaken desk that's in the middle, and I grab a bunch of papers that they look like reports of like stuff that has been going on around the city. And I look back at all of you with those papers in hand. There are a few things around the city that happen without me knowing. And these past couple of days, weeks, months, it is hard to parse exactly how long it has been, but there has been more exchanges and contraband and travels from one plane to another around Sigil, more than usual. Sigil is a strange place, a odd melting pot of people from many different planes of existence. And regardless of the reason why they come here, be it by accident, be it by force, being on purpose, everybody is here for a reason. And everybody plays a part in maintaining the very fragile balance, the very fragile peace that Sigil has kept these past couple hundred years. And these crystals and these rumors of something that I have been hearing, along with this note, and I take out the small piece of paper again, along with this note, it does not bode well. For those of you who are not from Sigil, have you heard about the Lady of Pain?
your brother pipes up and he says she was on another rampage. That's why the weather is like this again. One of the
Sorry,
Dabu have been killed.
Can you prove that my headphones died for like a hot second?
The Lady of Pain was on a rampage again. That's why the weather is so bad as it is right now. One of the Dabu have been killed.
Another Dabu. Okay. I cannot say anything for certain, since we do not have actual proof of this, but I believe there are powerful forces that are planning something in the city. I do not know exactly what it is they want or who it is involved, but this contraband and the killing of the Dabu, beings that are not supposed to be trifled with, so as to not incur the rage of the Lady of Pain, they are not coincidences, at least not anymore. And there's not appears to be a recipe or a step in a ritual or a process to create something, to summon something, to change something. I do not know. That is only a piece of the puzzle that I'm afraid I cannot tell, but it is not. It says that it requires a being that is not in Sigil. It requires a Holifant. Holifant is a celestial creature that resides in the Feywild, my and Oliver's home. What exactly it is that they want with the Holifant, I do not know, but it cannot be anything good. Where exactly then did you find this book? Where or who did you take it from, Oliver?
Shattered Temple. Where the
Goodness.
Athar reside.
The Athar. Of course it had to be them.
And
Of course it had to be them.
he also mentions to you that some of the masked figures seem to have had the red crystals jutting out of their bodies. Like they've been growing on and from inside their bodies.
I see.
That's why I
Then,
took this book as well.
well, it was wise of you to take this book. It is very powerful, perhaps too powerful, combined with this piece of the recipe, the Holifant. It does not bode well at all. Neither do these crystals. See, this book is of a type of magic that is very chaotic and unstable. We do not know enough of it to know how to counteract it, and it is far too powerful to be in the hands of the defiers, in the hands of the Athar. Whatever it is they're planning is not good, and it is probably a plot to bring Sigil down with them at some point. That point may come soon, if they manage to find all the pieces of the recipe that they need. You're not thinking of learning from this book, are you, Oliver? It is not safe at all.
It's somewhat bound to me already.
Oh, goodness.
I don't think it's wise for it to be on the same plane at the moment, at least.
It is not.
The issue with the Holophant coming up, I think it's the best decision for us to head to the Feywild.
You're right. Yes. Probably we'll be better if you, along with the book and our new friends, head off to somewhere safer. Not that the Feywild is relatively a safe place to be, but it is certainly safer than being in the same plane as the Athar that are looking for a book like this one. All right. You managed to lose them, right? They will probably have recognized you and come asking questions. I'll have to be ready for that. But I'll manage if they do come. But if you're going to leave, make sure to take some provisions with you. And if you're going to leave, leave soon. It might not be as safe around here anymore. At least until we figure out exactly what it is that this Blood of the Elephant requirement is. And this book. Do not leave it out of your sight, alright? In the wrong hands, it truly could break the fabric of reality and destroy time.
You see Oliver already has it like handcuffed to him with a chain. It ain't
Good.
leaving my sight.
Excellent. I pat him on the head. Good boy. You learned well. Alright, well, our meeting was unfortunately brief and I did not... You know what, before we leave, would you all mind to tell me your names? I will make sure not to forget them. I already know yours. Or perhaps not, Lady Sabrina. Lady... I didn't see your name, sorry, I slipped out. Lady Corvain, I mean. Just
Yes.
your names. I will not forget you, in case.
Yes, my name's Sabrina.
Sabrina, it is very nice to meet you. Remind me... Have you seen your grandmother lately? How is she? It has been a while since I have invited her for some tea and cards.
I visited her earlier today. She seemed pretty nice.
Really now? I have to take a note. I have to make note of inviting her sometime soon. Perhaps she will know a little more about this, but she still owes me for that last game of cards that we played a few months ago. But anyway, it's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Look at the others that are standing in the room that haven't said anything.
I'm
Yeah,
Belcheron. Patrol the streets regularly.
Yes, I have seen you before, Warforged. It is a pleasure to meet you by name.
A pleasure to meet you.
I'm Jill Anders. I just tag along to them.
I see, an outsider. Welcome to the Great Bazaar. Welcome to Sigil. I hope your stay has been not too chaotic, although considering these last events, I highly doubt it, unfortunately.
At that moment, you see coming through the door a very bloodied, beaten up Beerbolg, Hobgoblin, and a little frog, Mr. Sleeves, all come through the door.
Oh, Mr. Sleeves, old friend. Welcome. I assume they are with you? Looking to Sabrina.
They are. And I have something to talk to Mr. Sleeves about.
Mr. Sleeves hides in the bag that Aga is currently carrying. But you do notice that Mr. Sleeves looks horrible. Absolutely horrible. It looks like he's been on an all-night bender, all bloodied up, bruised up. Hobgoblin coming in looks like his eyebrows are singed off, charcoal blasted. Just everyone looks worse for wear than what you've just seen them as just not even an hour or so ago.
Are you all right, friends?
Have been better. Yeah. Hi. We are here. Careful of Sleeves. He's a little tender. And possibly still. Do we know if he's still high on the mushrooms? Or?
Oh, he sobered up real quick after some near death.
Oh, after he blew up a bit. So did I. So, hi. It's just I'm gonna sit down. Hi, hello, people I don't know.
Please, yes, go ahead, sit down.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cracking everything here.
As he sits down and all of you kind of scatter around the room, you see out of nowhere a bunch of like cups of tea appear like from the very back of the room, and they kind of float towards all of you. They smell super nice, like they smell like super 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 wonderful. and you all might notice that they smell like your favorite like smell in the world. Everyone's teacups smell like something different. And in the back, you see a pair of like detached, ghostly hands, kind of setting up like a small tea party. And those are like the hands that are distributing cups of tea for everybody. Well, I think this is a good time to distribute some nice cups of tea, especially for those who look like they have seen better days. Friends, I turn to look at your character, Brian, and I also kind of seem to recognize you. Oh, have I? I have seen you before, have I not? In the Hands of Time.
Oh yeah, I worked there with Saddam there when Adwin.
Ah,
Uh,
it's very nice to meet you, Edwin. You also, and I, just as I did with Sabrina, I walk uncomfortably close to your face, kind of stare really, really, really hard at you. Hmm.
yeah. So, hello.
Do you and I ask like in a quiet voice, would you happen to know Caster Extar?
Yeah, I do know Kaz.
Hmm.
We're
You remind me of him.
acquainted.
See, you remind me of him. A good lad. And I step back and go pick up my own cup of tea and sip it. All right. Well, I feel the you guys who have just walked into the whole situation. That you're all probably going to be heading to the Feywild soon, with my little brother, Oliver. Well, if I may ask, what exactly got you in this state, friends? Why are you so beat up?
Oh, yeah. So we kind of tracked down well, like they mentioned, we had a run in with a rat man and some other stuff. What we didn't know is that we kind of left the body to be disposed of. Um, um, but as you mentioned with the red crystal thing, it had not occurred to us that it might be a bad idea that these bodies will be disposed of with the red crystals in tow, because we did
I
kind of didn't
see.
know what would happen. So we chased them down, and we were also followed by the Athar. They did some dimension door stuff, sent us into some other area. We fought what we now know was a Death Knight. I almost died.
A death knight.
You see
Interesting.
Mr. Sleeves chime in, and he's putting a drop of something in his tea, and you don't, it looks like a weird coloration of liquid dropping in there. It's like an offhanded thing. He says, "Yeah, we went to the mortuary, and a freaking Death Knight showed up, and the only ones that deal with those are the Fated."
So now we have the Athar and the Faded.
Yeah, the Faded, and also we found some. I don't know where they sent us, but it was full of these red crystals. It was like some type of like lab or something. It was like they were growing them.
Was it here in Sigil?
It had to be, yeah. We found some information, and I conveyed the information of us finding like the notes about who would is possibly purchasing or supplying or getting supply for these red crystals and whatnot.
Yeah, it looks like Talon Underfoot is purchasing, or he's in the business of trafficking this contraband. It's not just red crystals; it's all these different types. And it
That
looked
little
like
twerp. I hate him so much.
Mr. Sleeves also
Uh,
says it looks like the Chaos Techs might be involved somewhat because it looked like one of their hideouts.
I'm not surprised. Those people are. Those people are something else.
We got out of there
Alright.
as quick as we could, but there was like these pools of red crystals and blood mixed, and we just saw a bunch of hands popping out of them, but we got out of there as quick as possible.
I see. Well, I am glad you all managed to make it out alive. Did any of you come in contact with the red crystals, with the liquid?
No, wait, I'm trying to think of like no. No, none of us luckily came into physical contact with them. At this point we knew to kind of keep our distance. It was kind of hard though. They were kind of all over the place. It sucked.
Good. All right. Well, so the Athar, the faded Shea sects, and that little twerp Talon underfoot. I am afraid this is much more complicated than I initially thought it was. I suspect there are more factions, or at least the leaders of the factions involved in all of this. Have any of you ever seen Hollyphant before?
Ooh. Would I have seen a Holophant
You
before?
definitely would not have. Holophants are only found in the Feywild. They don't come to Sigil. You don't even really know what they look like.
I might have read about them in books, but I have not.
Yes, well, they are hard to miss. They are very cute creatures, but very important in the Feywild. They are almost mythical in how important and celestial they are. And the Athar, the faded Shayoseks, pretty much everything they do is in spite of the city to affect somebody, some other faction. They only work for themselves and apparently with each other against other people. And the blood of a Holophant is powerful because the creature itself is powerful, and whatever they need it for is not good. That book that Oliver you have in your hands, that magic deals with time. It is a book of chronomancy, and there are very few of those books in the multiverse. Very, very few. Because it is so unstable and chaotic and so dangerous. Very few people in the multiverse are supposed to have those books. And even those who have, well, the last people that I met that dealt with chronomancy, I never saw them again. After I met them first, or perhaps I never even met them. Time is a little strange, especially when you deal with the magic of time. And Sigil lies in a space between dimensions, between planes, and between time itself, even. If Sigil were to collapse for some reason, if the balance that all the factions and all the people that live here keep were to fall and break, many other planes and dimensions would go with it. It is a vital place to protect and to keep intact, regardless of whether or not you agree with how the Lady of Pain does things around here. She keeps the peace, or peace as somebody as neutral as her would consider peace being. But the important thing is that nothing dangerous comes in or out, at least that could threaten the city. If they need a book that deals with time and they need something of a celestial nature, it brings me to believe that either they are trying to bring something in the city or make it so that anything can come into the city from within. I'm afraid I do not have enough information, and this is not. All right, okay. So when Adwin spits his the mention of chronomancy, turn around to look at him until I finish my spiel. Are you familiar with chronomancy? I mean.
Well, I know that it is the most powerful form of magic. But yeah, I know a bit. I study a lot of different classes of magic, but that is one I do not mess with.
Yes. It is dangerous enough to be not exactly forbidden, but if you start to study magic in almost any circle in any place in the multiverse, you will be advised to be careful with chronomancy. It can truly make or break a new plane. And the fact that it is hidden sigil and in the hands of the Athar, it is bad. It is certainly not good. It is very much terrible. So, you were right, Oliver, in that this book should not be in this plane, anywhere near where the Athar are. They have a beef, they have had many troubles, many problems against the Lady of Pain for many, 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 many years. Even much before I arrived here in Sigil. Your grandmother perhaps can tell you a little bit more about this, Miss Cravain. But the Athar loathe the Lady of Pain more than a normal person would dislike a being such as her. They have a long history against everything that the Lady of Pain has done, and that is perhaps why they have involved themselves in this plot to, I do not know even what they are trying to do. I'm not sure.
Well, whatever it is, sister, looks like it's ramping up.
It is. For now, it might be wise to leave, at least until we can figure out a little more about the situation, or at least somewhere you can put that book in a safe place, and you in a safe place, until things have calmed down. And all of you that have come in contact with these crystals, or the Athar, or the Faded, or the Sheosex, or whoever else it is involved, it might be safer to lay low for a while. The Bazaar is a safe place, or at least close to me is a safe place, and the Feywild might be your best bet to stay low until we can sort more of this out.
Everyone in favor of going to the Feywild as soon as possible.
Say sure.
As soon as possible, or
Like,
perhaps
in a
after
couple of
a
minutes.
short rest, maybe, or no.
You will be able to rest there. Oliver knows where to go. If you were an outsider that just runs into the Feywild without knowing any better, you will get lost. It is a horrible, beautiful place. And if you do not know your way around the land of the fairies, you will meet a horrible end. Very, very, very much worse than death. But you are lucky that Oliver knows his way around our home. So you will be safe with him. Safer than you would be in Sigil, for now at least.
I just nod to Oliver.
Okay. Oliver is going to talk to his little Kinku pal and whisper something. And you see Mayday, Mayday, run out of the tent and just go off. And he informs Adwin that he told her to relay a message of where you guys are going to the Hands of Time and to ensure Isabella's safety and protect her while you guys are gone.
Okay.
The fact that you encountered and survived a fight against a Death Knight tells us that it is not something that was in question before, but the people that we are dealing with now are powerful. They are very dangerous. And even though the Free League has some leverage around the city, it is not something that we could easily go up against without more information on the matter. So I am quite impressed that you managed to survive against the Death Knight. They are not easy to fight.
Yeah, no, they're they're definitely not. It was a learning experience to say the least.
Mr. Sleeves is poking out of the bag and just staring down Brian, smoking a cigar and just nodding his head.
I like nod to Mr. Sleeves like, yeah.
Well, this has. Thank you for all this information, friends. This has been very fruitful endeavor. I will ask around. I will ask my contacts to see if they know more about this plot, this plan of bring chaos, even more chaos to Sigil. Chaos we do not need. Certainly, I have enough on my plate as it is. Oh, Talon Thunderfoot, you little pow. Alright. Well, you can be on your way. Oliver knows how to go to the Feywild. If anybody comes asking for you, I will make something up. But for now, you will be safe. I give you my word.
You see Oliver say, I'll be back, sis, and he takes everybody and he said, we're gonna go to the portal now. Is there anything you need to do like immediately before we enter? Once we enter, we can't come back for a certain amount of time.
I think I'm good to go, to be honest.
Mr. Sleeves is rolling up something suspicious looking. He's like, yeah, just give me a minute.
Jeez.
He looks to Adwin and Og. Said, hey, don't mess with any flowers there. Only comes with bad omens.
Okay. No, I will not touch any flower.
Be careful.
And you see Oliver takes you all, leads you around in this maze. Come across this like wall with like vines just dripping from it, like these razor vines. He just waves his hand. You just see the wall open up with this blinding light. You can see through it, and you just see the Feywild, this fantastical land, rolling hills, mountains off in the distance, tons of different types of flowers. Like, well, let's go on through. He escorts you all through the portal, and now you are all in the Feywild.
Oh.
He said, we can take a rest here near the portal, if need be, or we could continue on just a little bit further and find a more secure place that I know of. This little cottage hidden in the mountain. But whatever everyone wants to do, we'll do it.
I vote for for the cottage.
Mr. Sleeves definitely votes for it.
You can finally get a long rest.
The cottage sounds good.
I'm done.
It takes you all about a couple hours to get there.
Yeah.
It's a very small cottage. This is only meant for like 2 to 3 people. That's how small it is. It's in the middle of a flower field. Bunch of daisies, sunflowers, all these types of different fantastical flowers are represented in this field. And you guys all rest for the night. Now, who does not need to rest at all?
I don't.
Elgeron, and I'll say Oliver, halfway through the night, you two are just sitting at a table in the cottage, and you see shadows move across the windows in the distance. There's a good couple of them. And then all of a sudden, you see a cannonball rip through the window, through the cottage. And then that's where we're going to end off today.